Well, oh, this one's gonna be painful. I gotta say, this one hurts. I know the series ain't over, and I know the fact that there's still a lot of hockey to be played. The Sharks were up. They were up by 2 goals in the third period, and they blew 3 unanswered goals. It's unacceptable. I don't care. This this one it's really horrible how this one just kind of slipped away. The Sharks, when they scored in that first period, the first 2 periods of this game were pretty dominant for the most part. Setaguchi scores off a very nice tip. Dan Boyle gives a great uh, wrist shot, you want to call that. And then the Sharks even do some penalty killing of their own, which actually helped them at the end of the first period. And then in the second, Joe Pavelski scores off a beautiful pass from Ryan Clough. It's like a video game because it was one of those flawless passes you're going to get. Uh, and then all of a sudden, Nicholas Cronwell scores on a pretty goal. Happened to get the Sharks defense to bite, and he happened to have an open net on the side, perfectly executed. All of a sudden, the momentum kind of goes to Detroit. The Sharks were lucky enough to get out of there with a lead. And then Logan Couture scores really quickly into the period. There was a transition game. They get him on the counterattack. You're thinking, oh crap, there's too much time in this game. I just was feeling it. That way too much time in this game. They all of a sudden the Sharks players definitely got casual throughout the rest of the period. They very outworked by Detroit. Detroit was powered. They were hungry. They needed the 3 goals and they got them tonight. And they got them really unanswered. Uh, there's still a lot of hockey to be played though, and the Sharks they're going to need something about composure. They had it for the first 2 periods. They didn't get that for the third, at least the end of the third. Jonathan Ericsson scored a very nice goal. I got to give some props to that goal. But Dan Cleary's goal, the one that tied it, was the Sharks were just bumping each other and bumping Anthony Niemi. He didn't get a good view. It's like the Sharks self-screened themselves. The Sharks defenders were a little too close to Anthony Niemi. That bumped him, and that happened to allow 2 really fast goals in this game. It's unacceptable to play defense that close to Anthony Niemi. I think Setaguchi's leg kicked it in there, and it was a cheap goal. Then later, Thomas Holmstrom. I thought Nicholas Lidstrom scored the goal, but I guess it was the Holmstrom tip. But that was a well-executed pass. You saw Pavel Datsyuk. He had his back towards the net, and it was well executed that he was able to hang on to the puck, and he was able to get the pass off to Lidstrom for the shot. And the Sharks were just kind of playing not to lose in the third period. You didn't see that same pressure that you'd be expecting. Very tough loss for the Sharks tonight. I gotta say, it really reminds you of 2000. I think it was 2007. I know 2007 they blew a late lead, and they could have been up 3-1 in that series back in 2007. But this one hurts. I'm not gonna lie. There's something about this team that they lost their composure in the third period. Because you saw in the first two, you watched this game, they were very close and they were playing very spot on the first 2 periods, and then all of a sudden they just kind of collapsed. Anthony Niemi made some big saves in the beginning, but Jimmy Howard kept Detroit in this game. San Jose had many opportunities to put this game away. Well-executed shots, but Howard made even better saves. I mean, what can you say? Uh, Jimmy Howard's done well on the road when it comes to playing, but there's still just something about this team, composure-wise. So now they're going to go out into Joe Louis Arena. If they don't win that one, the panic meter will set in full. I'm not going to panic just yet. They're going to need to have some kind of road swagger like they've had in the past. They had, on the road this year, they've been very good, despite losing the last time they went out to the Joe. But I have faith in this team. We all have to have faith and believe in this Sharks team to really come out there and go out to the Joe. It's horrible that the power plays were awful, just awful. You didn't see any really good execution from the power plays this game. I didn't see, they kept trying to pass and get fancy, but Detroit's able to score those measly cheap goals. The Sharks need to learn to get a little bit more scrappier than they were in this game. It was just real awful to watch. So the Sharks, we'll see what happens. It's still going to Game 6, and we got a game at the Joe. So until then, go Sharks as always. We'll see you later. But it's going to be a long, long series if this one's going to keep up, and it's going to be real painful. time being. So we'll see you guys later and go Sharks.